Welcome to Charlitas, the podcast that brings you laugh stories and real-world experiences every month. Hosted by the voices you love and brought to you by Latino Leadership Northwest.
Welcome back to another episode of Charlitas. I'm your co-host, Jair.
I'm Pamela.
I'm Luis.
Sam.
And I'm Alma.
And this episode, we're going to be talking about applying for Becas. So, Sam, what was it like for your first scholarship application?
How was my first scholarship application? Well, first of all, thank you, Jair, for welcoming us for this Charlitas episode. My first time applying for scholarships was probably in early senior year of high school. And if I remember correctly, it was the Rotary Scholarship, which came as part of the community foundation that we have here locally. And I'm pretty sure I've seen this, like in TikTok, I've seen other people discuss Rotary scholarships. So I'm pretty sure any other county in the state or outside of the state also has their own version of a community foundation that offers scholarships. But yeah, I applied for the Rotary Scholarship, mostly because it was really pushed upon us by like our English teacher, right? Like she had like a whole assignment, like write your first personal statement as a grade. And then she said, and it's like a 2-in-1 because you can use that statement as scholarships too, for scholarships. So that was the very first scholarship I applied to, and I actually won it, which yay. But once you win the Rotary Scholarship, you can't apply for it again. So it was like a one and done deal. But yeah, my very first scholarship that I applied to, I received. So that was kind of slay. I don't know. Alma, what was yours? Do you remember the personal statement assignment?
I do.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about it, and I remember because she told us to also have like a limit. It was like, I think 500 words. So I struggled with that. But then I used part of that personal statement for my scholarship that I applied to, which was, I think it was the Kaiser Permanente Scholarship. I don't remember the name of it, but that scholarship was introduced by our medical arts teacher. And she really emphasized like, hey, if you want to go into like healthcare, you should definitely apply. And, if you guys have been listening to our podcast, you know that I want to go into nursing and just work in a hospital. And so I decided to apply for it. And I ended up getting it. Oh my gosh. Should I go into the whole thing about that scholarship? Because when I applied to that scholarship, I was very nervous because it had like a interview process. And it was like a secondary, like another personal statement that you have to do after it. And so when I got the email that I was like, oh, advancing to the next step, I was very nervous because I had never done like an interview. And so I remember I even had to go in during the day. So I think I skipped like one class to go to the interview. And I got there and it was so nerve-wracking because I've never been to an interview. And I remember shaking, the interviewer's hand. And I honestly don't remember what like the questions were, but I remember walking out of there saying like, dang, like there was so much more I could have said, but I was so nervous. But guess what? Like I got it. And so that was exciting, especially because it was like a generous amount. And even like my teacher was like, oh, I thought you were just going in for like the 2,500 or like, like I think it was 5K, but no, you got the other one. And I was like, I guess so. And so that was very exciting. That was my first scholarship. So it was a lot of emotions with that one.
My first scholarship, I think if I remember correctly, it was the Hispanic Chamber Scholarship. And the Hispanic Chamber is a local organization that supports Latinx communities here in Oregon and in Southwest Washington. And I heard about that scholarship because of the work we do with LNW. We collaborate, or we're partners with the Hispanic Chamber, or we see the work that they do. And I saw an Instagram post about it, and I was like, "Ooh, wait, let me apply to that one." And the process of applying to that scholarship, it was a little rigorous because it was like you had to get letters of recommendation. I think it was 2 of them. And then there was like a bunch of essay questions to go along with that. And the essay questions, they were asking some deep stuff, like what kind of legacy you want to leave behind, or how do you show leadership? Like, they really made you think about it. So it wasn't one of those scholarships that you could just like do in a day. Like, you had to take, I think I took like 2 weeks to complete that scholarship, in addition to like waiting for the people who I asked to make me a letter of rec for them to fill out their section. But yeah, that was like my first, because you guys said that you had a teacher who kind of aided you guys in writing like a scholarship or a personal statement. I didn't have that. And so it was very much, I had to come up with everything on the spot and try and figure it out. And that was a little scary. But in the end, like, I think I did a pretty good job because I ended up getting it. And oh my gosh, that scholarship was kind of insane because they don't just, it's not like the scholarships where they just give it to you. They have like a whole luncheon, a ceremony where they present your scholarship donors, and you get like a fancy lunch, and you get to like you get like a certificate and everything. And I remember I went with my dad, which was such a memorable experience because having my dad there with me receiving, my first ever scholarship to go to college, it was like monumental. And I remember I got a little teary-eyed.
I tag along so I can confirm.
Oh, yeah, she was there too. But yeah, it was very nerve-wracking because I was like, if I don't get it, it's over. It's over. But I ended up getting it. And that scholarship, you can apply to it as long as you are planning to attend college. And so I applied to it again this year for my second year at WSUV. And we'll see if I get it again, guys. We'll see. But yeah, I think that was my first experience as writing a scholarship. You, Luis?
I can't remember my first one. I'm not gonna lie. It's been some time. I do remember like my first, like the one I do remember the most is like the WSUV general scholarship. And this is like a funny story. Like, so, it was like my first year applying for it, I think. And I just remember like, that scholarship, you kind of like sometimes, or at least in my case, like I left it for like last minute and then some, literally. Like, cause that scholarship, like they're like, there's this deadline, and then they extend that deadline. So like I took like all the way to like the end. So I just remember that one because like it has like a lot of questions and stuff like that, and like you only have like 100 words, whereas like other scholarships that I remember applying for, like you have like sometimes as much as you want, or sometimes like just more words than 100, So it was kind of hard. But I remember like literally like I filled it out. It was the day of, and then I think I thought I had submitted it, but like I think I closed the tab and I didn't click save. So then the whole thing got erased, and it was only 10 more minutes before the scholarship was due. So I think I just wrote like, please give me money, but sorry, it got deleted, and then I just submitted it. I obviously didn't get any money from it. From it, but that was like my first experience. And then I applied for it the last 2 years, and I've gotten it the last 2 years. So, you know what I'm saying? So I think we pulled through. We pulled through.
It was an arc. It was a whole arc.
We pulled through with that. So like, I overcame that. So that was mine. That was like the one I remember the most though.
And the WSU general scholarship that he's talking about, I think it also applies to all colleges and all universities where they have like this general scholarship application that you can apply for. And then there's like over 100, I don't really know the right number, but there's several scholarships that they can give you. So it's not just one scholarship for one person. It's several scholarships, and they, based off of your responses and like your demographics and all of that, they'll match you up with one
Yeah.
the best and see if you can win it. So, yeah.
It wasn't like the same. It wasn't like I won the same scholarship twice, like in those 2 years. Like I won 2 different ones. And you also got to like attend like a little like dinner thing. You guys are there too. They also won. They also got the scholarships too. But yeah, it was pretty nice. Pretty good event.
I don't really remember the dinners as much, except for the yam mashed potatoes that they served. Those were actually like the best yam mashed potatoes I've ever tasted. Like they were so delicious.
It was really good.
I think about them every time, actually.
Yeah.
Sorry. Jair, you're the last one. Tell us what was the first relation.
I think it was like
The first, you said relish?
First scholarship. I obviously want to have a different conversation.
I think it was like the college bound one, which was like in like 7th grade.
Goodness, how did we forget about that one?
Never mind. Forget my answer.
I know, forget
mine.
answer.
That was my first one.
And then it was just like, oh, just sign this paper. I was like, okay. But like, I feel like my actual first official one, I don't remember the one you guys applied, the one Sam applied to.
Yeah, I don't
the one
remember
Sam mentioned. Because I'm pretty sure I was in the same class, but I don't remember that one. But like the one I actually remember applying to was the one Bame also filled out. But like my like just you hearing your story was like mine was like completely different. I guess I didn't find the questions too hard because I was kind of.
What does that say about me?
Or I don't remember, to be honest. My memory's cooked. But like I was kind of like
It was some life for him. It was just another scholarship for
the
him.
questions. Like since I was applying to like schools and all that, like the questions reminded me of like, you know, they were the same. So I kind of copied, pasted, moved them into there, tweaked them a little. But like, and since it was like COVID and they were like, oh, you won. I was like, they're like, send this email to the sponsor, like make a video, take a picture, and then like go to this like Zoom meeting, and that was it. Oh, and then like when I actually I got the scholarship, thank you. And like they just like gave me like the check.
You're welcome.
They gave me like the check and it was like addressed to like, you know, the school I was going to. And I was like, what do I do? Where do I send it? And then I asked people and they're like, oh, you know, just mail it to them, add a tracker to it, you know, to make sure it gets there on time.
And the very first one he mentioned, the college bound scholarship, is that Washington State only? I don't know.
So.
Maybe there's something similar in other states. But yes, the college bound scholarship is for students who I think the only requirements really are that you graduate high school with like more than a 3.0 or something, and that you go to college and then you get like Washington State aid as part of the college bound scholarship. So that's, yeah, because I remember I also signed for it in middle school. So you literally sign into it as a middle schooler. But they keep reminding you like every year, like, oh, like, you know, if you're part of the college bound, like, remember you have to keep it up or whatever, you know? But yeah, actually, good point, Jair. That was our very first scholarship.
And hearing Jair mention, you know, that his experience was different from Bame's, that reminded me that when we were applying for scholarships, like COVID hit. So even if like we got, because I think for my scholarship, the Kaiser one, there was some sort of like meet your sponsor or whatever. But because we were in COVID, it was all online. So, I mean, if you guys want to go online and look at the 2020 Kaiser Permanente Scholarship video, I'm in it. So go give it a listen to it or watch it. But yeah, I was like, we didn't do what you did, which was go to like those dinner receptions because it was during COVID. And I had forgotten about that.
And those dinner receptions are so funny because they almost always know you. And they're like, you're Alma's sister. And I'm like, no. That's what happened at the WSCV General Scholarship.
Aww.
Yeah. And I'm like, no. But that's what's cool about like the luncheons. You get to actually meet your sponsors and have like an actual face-to-face conversation with them. And like you're able to thank the person who believed in you. And it's really cute. And sometimes they give you their business cards and are like, whenever you need anything, like just hit me up. You need resume building. You need like, you want an internship? Like I can get my contacts in. It's a really great way to like network and get into spaces that you may not have. So yeah, scholarships don't just give you the money; they also like give you other resources if you know how to use them.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned COVID too, and so COVID still was happening while we were seniors in high school. So I was still applying for scholarships or whatever, and like there was this one scholarship that I found, and I was like, oh, I have to apply to it, but I don't remember. I think I like physically had to like print out the application and like my personal statement, all of that, and I had like to ask for letters of recommendation, and then mail it out to them all the way to New York, I think. I don't even remember like what the amount was, but I was like, even if it's $100 or whatever dollars, like that still covers a textbook or something. So I like did all of that. I even like my God, bless her. My English teacher, the same one who like pushed us for that personal statement assignment, like she drove all the way to my house to like drop off, because I didn't have a printer. So I was like, hey, like also, can you write my letter of recommendation? But also, can you print it out for me, please? And like, I'll go pick it up or something. I don't know. But she drove all the way and she like dropped it off, and she even like put it in a folder in a like envelope ready to go. And I was like, slay. And then I mailed it. I don't remember how long it took, but then I was like, you didn't get it. I was like, oh, okay. So not every scholarship that we applied to, we got. Because I know we like all mentioned like our very first one we somehow like managed to get, like except him, which like who's surprised? But no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But like, yeah, every scholarship, I remember I applied to so many scholarships and I didn't get like half of them.
I only got those two.
I don't know if you guys, because TikTok was big. Y me salían a mí like I think they were like the bold.org scholarships,
yeah.
But they were like fun statement, like questions, and it was like only a 500 response. I applied to like 10 of those. I don't know if they were a scam. I never got one of them, but I don't know.
I applied to like the ones where it's like, sign up, create an account. You'll be applied to like 50 scholarships. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
But I think the good thing about like scholarships is even if you don't get them, you get that like experience, and you get that you learn from like your responses, like how to formulate your response. And like Jair said, I know you said like because when you were applying to the Hispanic scholarship, you were also applying to colleges, and so you would copy and paste your responses. Like, yeah, you can do that.
Tweak it a little.
Yeah, add like a little flair here and there to differentiate it. But yeah, if you're writing a scholarship, like Jai, like Lise, when you were writing yours, you should have written it in another document to have it as reference for future
copy
use.
paste it.
Which is something else like that. Like a lot of times I don't do that. I just write it on the page itself, and then like it's like, and then I just submit it or whatever. But then I'm like, oh, I wish I would have had it. I had it in another document, because then when I'm applying for the same scholarship, it's like, oh, I have to come up with all these words again. So yeah. Pro tip: make sure you guys save like your drafts or for scholarships or anything, any kind of personal statement or resume things like that.
Yeah. I do that. Like I did that like all the time. I like always wrote them in a different document. Mostly because like I edit so much during my writing process, and I'm like, I just like need to like put it out on a Word doc first, and then like get the best version and then copy it over. But also so that I could keep it saved. But I'd like go back to reading my very first personal statement, like which won me that first scholarship. And I'm like, why did I win? Like, this sucks. Like, this is such terrible writing. Like, I don't make sense. Like, what am I saying? So I think with the practice, like over and over again, and like writing different statements, because, for some reason I no longer identify with that statement, or I just like need to tweak it to like answer the question better, or like I am a new person with new visions, new goals, so I want to like put that in there. You definitely get more practice and your statements like get better with time. But yeah, that first statement was so bad. I was was like, what actually, like, what was I thinking?
But that was you at the time, though.
Oh, wait.
You know what I'm saying?
Period.
That was you at the time.
Thank you for reminding me.
Like, if you got it, it means that your sponsor like saw what type of
potential.
person you were. You know what I mean? So I feel like it goes to show that you don't have to be like this magnificent, extraordinary writer. Like, as long as you put down like who you are as a person and are genuine about, you know, your goals and your goals and hopes with getting further in education, like the person seeking out someone to sponsor like will see that and take note of that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the most important part to show in a scholarship application with your responses.
You showed heart.
Right. Wait, why am I going to start crying?
What's the word? Pathos?
Pathos.
But yeah, but because you know, recalling back to my interview that I had, I was just talking about myself. I'm pretty sure I just like, she asked like, you know, like, who are you? And I was like, so yeah, and like I told her my story. And yeah, what you guys are saying is true, because I was being true to myself and, you know, sharing my story. I think that's what captivates most of the scholarships. And so that would be my like takeaway is even now, because I'm thinking about going back to school and I'm like, what can I write about now? But I think, you know, just keeping those things in mind is very important.
Mm-hmm. And it does take a long time. Like it takes like you heard Pamela, it took her like 2 weeks to complete a scholarship, and that's like a whole assignment there. But it does take a long time, and sometimes like halfway through you're like, is this even worth it? And honestly, like, I don't know. Like, you won't know unless you try, you know, like you just got to apply, especially because if you need the money, like, you know, you got to put in the work. But I also understand that like sometimes the scholarship requirements, like for certain scholarships, they are so like
You're a lot
insane. Sometimes, you know, they're like, you know, you need to have this certain GPA and you need to have like 100 letters of recommendation, and you have to have like all your extracurriculars listed, and also like you have to be a full-time student. But also we want to know like if you have a job and how you're balancing like your life. And I'm like, what? Like,
I'm not a robot.
what do you want from me? Like, I don't know. Sometimes it's too much.
But there's also some that aren't like that as well.
Yeah.
True. And I get what they're doing, like trying to like pick, you know, the students who I guess really want it or something, but like everybody really wants it. Everybody wants that coin to pay for college.
WASFA is the state aid.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the one I ended up applying to. And it goes on for, I think, a max of 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very helpful. It's not like a scholarship. So it's not asking you like write personal statements or all that. It's just asking about like input, parents' tax, and like
the sister to FAFSA.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's based on income and stuff.
Right. Yeah. It's like FAFSA is for like, you know, all students. But students who are, you know, who have status in the U.S., and then WASFA is for students who might not. So that's, you know, Washington actually like slayed with that, because they're offering, you know, they're opening those college doors for all students. So
there's an L&W post that goes more in detail.
Yeah, and also if you want to check out the FAFSA and WASFA websites, that'll give you more information on like, if like you as a student, which one you should be applying to, because they do have their differences.
Mm-hmm.
But like you were saying, it's based on like family income and family.
Yeah. One thing though is to keep in mind is like the application opens. It used to open like in October, and it's been changing. So definitely keep an eye out for that.
It's open now.
Mm-hmm.
It's currently open. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys remember like when you guys first applied for it? Like,
yeah, it was a mess.
Yeah. So like I remember our first time applying for it. They were like, we're hosting like a hosting like a WASFA FAFSA night where you can come and you can apply for financial aid for college.
Con tu familia, right?
Yeah, like you can come, but you can bring. Yeah, you can come with your parents or by yourself, I guess. But like it was easier to do with parents because especially for like me, it was like my first time, and like they asked for taxes and stuff, which to this day I still kind of don't know zero about. But what's it called? Like, yeah, I just remember that process, and like they had students from WSUV that came, and then like other organizations that are local here that came and like helped us out filling it out. But even then, it was like such a long process. I just remember it being like, oh my God.
I had to ask, like, what do I do for like each question? I'm like, what do I do for this one? What do I do for this one?
Yeah.
I think that was the first time my mom had to create like an email account because they asked, for a parent signature. So that was the first time that we had to create one for her. And that was nerve wracking because then I think it asked for like a backup one.
Yeah.
So then I had to make one for my dad. And who's the one who's going to remember those passwords? Me. And I've had to restart them a couple of times.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the first time. It was a hassle.
Yeah, you really unlocked a memory there. I totally forgot that there was a noche like that, like a night. And I remember I went with my mom and, we filled it all out. And then the tax question, that one specific tax question that is like so confusing.
Till this day.
It really is. Like, I kid you not, every single year that I had to apply for WASFA, I based it off of the taxes from that year. And I would like, okay, like I got the number from there. So I put this number from here and I like match it up in order for it to like make sense in my brain. Cause I still don't understand what they're asking.
I'm always scared. I'm like, if I do tax fraud, it's over, y'all. It's over. It's over. I'm done.
And now my brother does the same too. He's like,
she'll come into my room. She's like, okay, we have to do this right now. And so
I'd be stressing. You don't understand. This year was my second year applying or filling it out. Same stress as the first year. But it's not as bad because she has done it a lot of times and so she can help me. But even then I'm stressing. I'm like, if we input a wrong number, like it's over. Like we're done. We're done.
Thank your older siblings, guys.
thank me right now.
Oh.
No, but I was going to say, it's also at a first come, first serve basis. So it's important to get that in as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm. And for the scholarship that he mentioned, like the college one, the general scholarship, in order to even get a scholarship from there, you had to turn in the FAFSA, WASFA in order to even qualify.
There's like other scholarships that also require that too. They're like, oh, you have to have FAFSA or WASFA to apply to the scholarship.
Yeah, like another scholarship specifically for Washington is the Opportunity Scholarship. And that one also like requires you to have your WASFA or FAFSA turned in prior to turning that Opportunity Scholarship in. Yeah, so they're like very interconnected. So if you're planning on applying scholarships, make sure you get either the WASFA or the FAFSA in.
And make sure your parents file taxes of like the previous year of the following years you're doing them.
Mm-hmm. And some scholarship, I don't know about y'all, but I had one scholarship, maybe two scholarships that I got. And then like, I was like waiting for it to hit the WSU like system or whatever, the college system. And I was like not seeing anything. And I was like, oh my God, like what's going on? And then I like waited a week and I was like, it's still not there. And then the semester started and it's still not there. And it's like a week it passed, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then I was like, who do I call? Like, where's my money? So I don't be afraid to like reach out to those scholarship people or because maybe it was just an oopsie, which in my case, it wasn't oopsie. Like there was miscommunication because the roles switched. So the processing it never processed. And so I was like, hey, like, I don't want to bother you, but the semester started and I don't have my money for my textbooks. Like, can you check what's up? and it got quickly fixed. So I was like, slay, like for doing that quickly. But yeah, don't be afraid of reaching out if those scholarships haven't hit.
And be persistent because I still have one that I was awarded back in like May of last year. Still hasn't hit, but you know what? I'm contacting them every week.
No way.
Yes, I still haven't gotten it. And I'm like, guys, if I can't pay for this textbook, it's on you.
Do they respond to you?
No, that's why I have been sending a lot of emails.
Call them out right now. No,
but you know damn right. I'm gonna keep on contacting them because I did not fill out that scholarship application for nothing.
Right.
Literally what Sam said happened to me this semester. Like I didn't get any aid And I was like, hey, like, I was like, in my mind, I'm like, I should be receiving this amount. But like, I didn't get anything. And I was like, hey, like, why am I not getting any aid? And then like the day came, like, it was like literally like the second day before school. And I was like, dang, I guess I'm not getting any aid. I got to pay for it. And so I paid for it. And then I emailed them like, hey, I wonder why I'm not getting any aid. Is it because I'm like considered part-time this semester? Because I'm not taking as much credits. And then they were like, oh, like, we'll let you know. They responded to me and they're like, oh, we'll let you know, like, since you're part-time, we have to like, you know, go through like a system, like make sure you're like still eligible to receive your aid and all that. It was like a whole thing. And then like, and then the lady was like, oh, but you could still like, you know, you still have time to wait to pay for it. I'm like, I already paid for it. And then like, you know, the day she told me like, oh, you should be receiving your aid. If you do get any aid, you should be receiving it this day. And then, yeah, I got it back then. And then I got my refund from the money I paid back. So,
Oh, that's good.
it was a whole,
It's so stressful. I remember my last year of college, like I got an email that was like, because you're over like a certain number of credits, you're no longer eligible for like state aid. And I was like, if you decide to like take more credits the next year. And I was like, what if I'm like a 5th year student? Does that mean like I have to pay out of pocket? But yeah, I was like, well, this is actually crazy.
They're stressful for sure.
wait. The last time I applied to FAFSA was super stressful because it was like they like flipped it all around and like they were like, okay, we're making it easier. We're opening it this day. They're like, we're still going through some maintenance. We're gonna push it back a little. And then they pushed it back a little. And then they're like, oh, it's open. But then like there's like, I saw all over TikTok, they're having issues. Like some people, it's more difficult and all that. And I was like, yo, I gotta call someone to help me out. And then they helped me out. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then, but I made like the dumb mistake and I put like my dad's like birthday wrong. And I'm like, just tried calling. I like called them for like 2 or 3 weeks. I was like, I made a mistake. Help me. And then like, since it was weird, they're like, they wanted that parent to be on the phone present. Mm-hmm. And like, my dad can't read or write. So it was like even harder. And then like, just struggled answering. But like, we got it through.
Was it easier this time around?
Well, that was my last time applying for it, so.
Oh, right, because you're graduating.
Mm-hmm.
No, never mind.
I was like, the last one was like the most stressful.
Oh, wow.
But I got it. I like ended up applying for it. Like, I ended up finishing the application and everything like in the summer.
I'm sorry.
So because they're so stressful, make sure if your school is holding like a WASFA, FAFSA event, if you can attend, because those are actually really helpful. And I know a lot of the high schools like provide that type of work, or even like community colleges, they provide that for like incoming students. So if you're able to, go, because there will be people who can help you.
And I know with scholarships, like we've mentioned, like they're really intensive and they require a lot. And I remember like thinking like, oh, like I was like comparing my GPA or whatever, because when you think of scholarships, you're always like, nah, like I have to have like a 4.0 to apply for them. Like I have to like be really good in my grades or whatever. And I remember thinking like, oh, like I'm not even qualified for half of the scholarships that I'm going to find. So like, why even bother? Why even like applying for these? But there's quite a few out there that don't require any grades, or like there's like no certain limit or what? Yeah, there's like no certain GPA required. So, you know, even if your grades aren't the best, you can still apply for scholarships. You can still look for scholarships. And honestly, I heard a piece of advice that like, even if you have bad grades and even if those scholarships require like a certain, like still apply for them anyways. Cause I don't know, you might eat up your personal statement. Like you might have like a really good personal statement. And if you could somehow like explain why those grades are the reason that they are like that, you know, whoever's reading it might be like, oh, this person deserves the money.
Like, that's a solid reason why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You could also like really filter out scholarships. Like if you're good at certain things, then you could find out those scholarships. Like even if you're like a parent, find those scholarships.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because there's some scholarships that are very like specific. Like if you're a working single parent, or if like, you know what I mean? Like some of them are very, very like niche kind of.
Yeah, if you're gay.
Oh.
If you're an ally.
But they are like if you're part of the community. Like
yeah. If you're a Latina, or like if you're, I don't know,
like a first gen, like
a certain
STEM or
demographic.
something.
Yeah. There's even like silly ones where like if you have brown eyes, if you have sexy, beautiful brown eyes, you can apply for this scholarship.
Or like draw this.
I remember one where I was like, "What would you do in a zombie apocalypse?" And that was like, answer that, and you could be entered to win like a $500 scholarship.
Or I don't know if you guys remember this, but our English teacher shared with us the scholarship that got the girl into like a lot of the Ivy League schools, and she just wrote about going to, I think it was like Costco.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like, yeah, it does depend. It does, like sometimes GPA is like doesn't matter as long as you write like a very good essay. You're good.
That sounds like a really fun Costco experience.
Wait, I don't remember it.
I don't remember either.
Oh, you just know it was good?
No, we read it. Like, yeah, it was
I think we read it in class, but
Oh. See, like she wrote such a good Costco essay that like people would have no idea what she wrote about anymore, but they remember how it impacted them.
Do you want to move on to some like myths regarding scholarships? Because there's a lot of like as first generation students, I feel like there's a lot of things that we heard prior to applying to scholarships that may have like scared us a little bit. Like I know for one, like we said, bad grades. Like I remember in high school, I was like, I can't slip up, because if I slip up, y'all, I will not be able to like pay for college because I won't be chosen for any scholarships. But like we mentioned, bad grades literally sometimes they have no impact on your eligibility for a scholarship.
Yeah, but for every like scholarship you find that does require like good grades or a certain GPA, you'll find another one that doesn't. So like, you know, it's okay. And I totally get it. Like I battle that with my brother all the time. Like he's like, no, like it's not worth it. Like I'm not gonna get anything. And I'm like, dude, how do you know if you haven't even tried? Like,
and your brother's smart, so
I mean, tell him that again.
it's just that fear, I think, you know, that you probably are gonna put a lot of work into it and not get anything out of it. Because yeah, I get that.
That's why work on like fine tuning that personal statement, and like you got yourself the same copy and paste that you can use, you know?
Yeah, like you're getting better every time. I feel like that's how I like to look at it with like scholarships. Like you might not get the first one, but like you might get like the third, fourth, whatever. So like and save your work. As long as you save your work and you get better at it, and you like also like look at what other people are kind of writing about, you know? Yeah. I don't know. I mean, another myth is like maybe that I've heard, and the ones that we have, you guys can also add other ones that you guys may think of, but like I know one that's like you can't apply to scholarships if you're in college, and that's obviously not true. It's just that it can get really hard to kind of like do that while you're in college, just because like, you know, it is kind of like difficult to kind of dedicate time to like applying for scholarships while you're like, you have a midterm coming up, or like you got to finish this like homework or lab or whatever. Especially for me, like that's always been like it still is like a struggle, but like you can most definitely like apply. And if not, at least apply to like your general school scholarship, which I always try to do. on time now.
And he makes sure to hit that save button.
Yeah. And then also like if you're, or like another one is like that if you're undocumented, that there isn't scholarships, or that you can't get financial aid. And like, and I know that a lot of people still to this day think that you can't get financial aid if you're undocumented. And in the state of Washington, that's just not true. Like, and like I think I've said it before, like somebody saw like a clip that we did or something like that, and they hit me up and they were like,
Oh, that was big.
yeah, and they were like, yo, like I just saw your video, you talking about like being like undocumented and going to school, and he was like I was undocumented too, but I thought I couldn't go to college, so I never did, and so he never went, and then I was like, damn, I didn't even know that. That's crazy. But I was like, yeah, dude, it's just, and it just happens. Like maybe you're just not in the I don't know, like in the right place or something to hear that you actually can do it. But like,
Or also, like, a lot of it's knowledge too. Like, I remember for my brother, he was like, oh, I didn't think like you getting your school paid for was actually true. Like,
my brother too.
Like, he's like, I heard of like, you know, another door open, and I was like, I'm going to just go for that one because I don't know the whole college stuff.
Exactly. So like a lot of people just aren't like aware of that information out there. But like, yes, you can go to college even if you're undocumented. This state offers like a lot of help, especially. So, you know, it's a really big blessing for those of us who are undocumented. So,
and I had an experience in high school where I had a teacher like block me of an opportunity to apply for college because I was undocumented and I wouldn't receive any like financial aid to pay for it. So they told me like, why even apply for it? It's not worth it. And I was like, what? Like, and I never like applied for it either. But, you know, now like that I reflect on it, I'm like, that was actually kind of crazy for you to say to me as an educator. Like, kind of cray cray.
Not close them.
Right. And also the fact that like, you're just not educated on your students. Like, and I know for a fact that they had students, but I was like, okay, like whatever, like I know I can, but you know, whatever. And another like thing that I just thought of was like, some people only like think that the big ride scholarships are like worth it because, you know, like so much money, like it could pay for like a lot of my college. And I never got like a really, really big scholarship, but all of the ones I got were like much smaller, but I managed to get like quite a few that like they stacked up like for that one, you know, really big scholarship. So those little ones are still really good scholarships. Because also sometimes, you know, people don't be applying for them. So your chances might be better compared to those like really big ones that everybody and their mom is applying for. So those little ones do add up, and they equal to like one of those really big ones.
Yeah.
While you were talking, another myth that came to mind, you know, people misconception is that because I'm applying to like these big scholarships or just scholarships in general, that I'm gonna have to pay them back. And that's not the case. Like, that's a scholarship, right? You might be thinking maybe of like loans, but that's not the case with scholarships. When you're awarded that money, that's for you to use towards like books or even, you know, transportation. Because I know there's a lot of commuting, like just between like us and WSUV. That's so yeah, that's one thing that I thought about. That scholarships you don't have to pay back. That money is for you to use on school, transportation, and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's, like Alma said, there's loans where you do have to pay back, but there's also grants. And from my understanding, grants are kind of like scholarships, but they kind of are more like, we'll give you this money, but you have to make sure you like maintain this grade or like do this certain thing in order for us to give you the money.
Well, I mean, some scholarships are like that too. Like when I know the ones I've gotten, they're like, okay, but you have to go to school full time and you have to maintain like an above, I don't know, 3.0 GPA, and like you have to submit like a thank you video sometimes, and then sometimes they'll be posted at the dinner, in front of everybody.
Can you guess whose video was posted at the dinner?
They said they really liked my video, and then I forgot. And then when we were there in front of everybody,
I turned to him and I was like, "Are you for real?"
It was crazy. It was Thank you.
We missed it.
Oh, thank God you guys did.
Wait, it's on the website?
Oh, yeah.
I saw one of them on the
I tried searching it
website.
up and I didn't find it.
Aw.
I don't know.
We'll look for it after.
You're like, oh, dang.
Yeah. Don't look it up. What's it called? Another big thing is like that people think that you have to be like a great writer to get scholarships, and I feel like that's might be true, but not all the time. Like, at least I feel like the scholarships I've gotten, I just kept it real, to be honest. Like, obviously I'm not just like, writing about like my day or something, but like I've just been like as honest as I can be, and just been myself. Like the best thing that like I feel like you can do in a scholarship is just be yourself. Don't try to like imitate like a copy that you saw online of like, oh, this is what it should be. Like, because if it's not you, they're gonna know that. Like, people know that, and people want to get to know you, And I know for me, like sometimes I'm just like, dude, I'm honestly just struggling. Let me like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just let me get some money. and like I've gotten those scholarships, so it's like, just always be yourself.
And don't be afraid of the writing centers in your college.
Oh,
they
that's a
can
good
really
one.
help you like with your personal statements. Like, that's why they're there. I never went though.
Well, if we're talking about like advice, a real quick one would be recommendations are important. So like build that relationship with professors and people you work with, because those are very important when it comes to applying for scholarships.
It's true. Also, like he mentioned the thank you videos. Those are so awkward. Like, tell me why I'm like remaking this video 350 times. Ugh, I actually like really hated doing those, but I was like, whatever. It's all worth it. So this is our thank you video that we're gonna do
To our sponsors that got us through college.
and now we're here. Thank you.
And thank you to our sponsors, right, Jair?
Thank you to the Inner Thai Foundation and Peace Health Community Fund
And
for
we
sponsoring
hope,
this video.
Yeah, no, you're good. And we hope that, anything we shared are helpful tips for during your, scholarship search. And, maybe we are part of your journey. Maybe we're the reason why you will get that scholarship.
If y'all get a scholarship off of this, send us your thank you video. You know what I mean? We might not watch it, but we still want to.
we will.
We probably won't watch that, but
I'll
like, we'll
watch
have
it.
like a good laugh at it.
Yeah, but if you didn't get those scholarships, like, this is our disclaimer.
We're not experts.
That's too. You get the next one.
Make sure you do your research from FAFSA, WASFA to taxes to scholarships.
For sure. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you for the Inner Thai Foundation and Peace Health Community Fund for sponsoring this video.